music is what we always use, to prepare us a way, to prepare us the path, to open up, the pathway so that we can, be tuned to positive vibration. Right now, the time is 10 a.m. Central African time. You're listening to Zawadi in the program called Imbande Zemiti here at Mzansi FM, So yeah, remember Mzansi FM is this community platform where we all come together, to talk about our experiences as human beings, our experiences as a community, to help one and the other, in their way towards success. We each live for purposes. We each have goals, intents, responsibilities, and duties, on a day-to-day basis. So how we, go about in achieving those, fulfilling those, is all that we are all about here, So yeah, son help son, daughter help daughter, help daughter help son, izandla ziyagezana. That's the policy and the principle that we use here, collective existence, whereby we all help one and the other. In Kiswahili twasema umoja ni nguvu na utengano udhaifu, So unity is power and separatedness is a weakness, kopano kimatla, umanyano ungamandla. So we are all powerful when we are, working together in unison, when we're working together in, collaboration, ushirikiano. That's cooperation in Kiswahili, So yeah, it's all about combining energies, combining ideas, combining the essence of our collective selves into one thing, into one assembly of one body, one force, one mind. This is the principle, this is the formula towards success, So each and everyone is successful. If you are successful, we are successful, If you are not successful, but it doesn't mean we are not successful, It simply means, we still need to work harder, we still need to explore how best we can, have ourselves as input within your space, So it's all about interacting in each and other spaces, so that we all can come to this point of celebration, where we celebrate, our being, where we celebrate, our power, when we celebrate our uniqueness, when you celebrate our blessings, when we celebrate our purposes to life, because each and every one of us didn't just come here as a mistake, or just came here to just, wander around, we are all here for specific purposes, but it is through working with other people, working together with other people for the goodness, of our achievement of our specific goals, specific responsibilities, specific duties, and our purposes, So yeah, remember we spoke about the power of affirmation and the power of visualization. That is the power of mind. How do we apply our mind, in creating powerful realities, that we intend, to bring forth into existence within our spaces and other people's spaces out there. So it's a continuation, on that. Right, today we're going to be talking about the power of planning. Already you have a vision, right? And each and every day we are making affirmations. So beyond affirmation, there's the practicality. How do you practically set to achieve your goal? So the practical side of it is, what you do, your actions towards the achievement of those affirmations, towards the achievement, the fulfillment, or the activation of those, visual pictures you see in your mind. So yeah, this is where we're at today, the power of planning. They say proper and preparation prevents poor performance. Yeah, that's the truth, actually, because, when you plan, you prepare your way, you shape it, on paper, you shape it in your mind, you shape it physically, you're aligning principles, you're aligning energies, then from there you can see if this is what I want, So how do you prepare yourself, towards, any performance? It's all about, knowing what you need to do step by step. What is this first step, the next step, and the steps as they go, consecutively like that, So yeah, it is very important, to plan your work, and then work your plan, Yeah. So when we're planning our work, it's just like, let's say like you're doing civil engineering, so you do town planning. So automatically you need papers, where you will draw the plan of the city, the town, the area, the place. You'll do the plan of the house that you wanna build. You plan it, you put it on paper. You have all the measurements, you have all the shape to create this, the geometrical shape of this architect that you wanna bring, forth about. So that picture, you have it in your mind, then you translate or transfer it onto the paper now, where you just draw out the whole plan of the place or the thing that you want to do, even if it's an invention. We have seen like scientists do that, we have seen inventors do that. They will show you the paperwork, to say, okay, this is my plan. Even if they're doing like fundraising, or they're talking to investors, the potential supporters, into the idea, the goal, and the dream. They'll show them the paper. This is what I want to achieve. It's on paper. You can see it. You can see the pictures of it. Then from there, you will know the resources that you need now. You know what you want, or what you need to achieve this goal. So what are the inputs, what are the raw material that you need, what are the components of this structure that you want to build, what are the components of this idea that you want to fulfill or manifest. What are the components, the inputs of this business that you want to establish. So when you're doing business, you have this thing of inputs and outputs. The inputs are the thing that you need, so that the business, or the project, can kickstart now, practically, and be alive. So there is stuff that you need to list down. The thing that you need is equal to when you're doing the invention, when you're doing, civil engineering. Draw the plan down. So also for business, this is what you do also, not just for business, but for everything that you need on a day-to-day basis. Make sure that when you wake up, you take a pen and a paper, or if you are using anything like a gadget, be it a computer, a laptop, or your phone, you do like the notes of the to do your itinerary, your schedule. That's part of planning your way towards your success. You have to talk to somebody at what time, you have to do this at what time, you have to do that at that time. Where do my day start? Where do my day end? So everything must be in planning, according to plan, so that you don't forget. Because the mind can be carried away by some other realities that take space within it or without it. So yeah, wanasema mpango ni kama ramani kuelekea mafanikio. Plan, or the plans are like a map work towards our success. So it is really important then, to plan your way out. After planning, you can look at it, review it, revise it, if there is any need. Then you see it in your mind. You start feeling, the emotion of the reality of this. If it's something that you want to possess, you start feeling the emotion of in being in possession of that. If it's a house that you are, structuring on paper, you start living in that house. You start seeing yourself in that house. In as much as you just looking at the planning in the picture now. There is the dining room, the bedroom, the kitchen, the lounge, the bathrooms. Maybe if it's a 1-story, 2-story, 3-story building, you can see, what's there in each and every of the stories. You will start experiencing your life within this building, even before the building is started. Then from there, it is now the material that you need. What is it that you need, for you to achieve your goal? What is it that you need for you to achieve your dream? What is it you need for you to kickstart your business? What is it that you need for you to kickstart your project? Then you start with you list down all the physical resources that you need. You list down all the services also that you need, then you list down the human resources also in terms of who are the people that's gonna be involved in my dream, in my goal, in my intent, in my plan, in my work that I need to do. Who is it that I need to rope in? The relevant people, that I know that they are competent, they can contribute positive contributions towards me achieving my goal for today, my goal, even for the next time, if me like bringing out this thing that I want to bring out, so who are the service providers? What are the companies, the organization that I can drop into my project, into my planning, the people that can be of resource and support, into this thing that I want to do. This is part of your planning. You can just go there and say, I'm doing this without seeing it in your mind, without putting it, without scheduling as to where do you start. Like just like when you're building a house, you start with the foundation. Before the foundation, you need material to build the foundation. Then you rope up the material, you start laying the foundation. Then from there you start, constructing the walls, layer after layer, etc., until you go to the roofing, until the house is complete. You do the painting, you do the decorations and everything. This is all planning stage by stage, stage by stage. Planning is very important because why? It gives you a sense of direction as to where you wanna go. So let's look at other plan. I remember the Soviet Union, like Russia, they had the 5-year plan, during the Lenin and the Stalin, etc., the 10-year plan, the 15-year plan. Right now, as we are talking, as you are listening to this presentation, as you're watching this presentation live on Zawadi YouTube channel, there are people who are having vision 2030, vision 2060, vision what. They already know what they would love to achieve in many decades to come. So you see how powerful. So that plan, that goal is the one that now drive their day-to-day life. What is it that they do, towards the achievement of the 6 decades yet to come plan, on a week to week, on a month to month, on a year to year process. They are guided as to what is it they need to do, to achieve this goal, for them to reach 2060, for them to reach 2030. What is it that they need to do? Who are the people they need to involve? What are the thing that they need? What are the spaces through which they can access, the access to the services and the raw materials, that they want. Look at the so-called first world countries, they have already targeted certain geographic spaces, to sustain, their expansion of science and technology. So they have their vision 2060, vision 2090, vision 20, 20 what. They already have a vision. That's the planning, that's the proper and proper planning that will prevent poor performance on their side. You see, so now the question is, for me and you, what is your plan for today? What is it that you need to do today? What are the responsibilities that you need to execute today? What are the duties that you need to execute today? Have you drafted that down? Have you seen that thing in your mind? Have you prepared it very well and clearly within your mind? Do you see the picture of the thing that you need to achieve today? As the sun rises until the sunset, as your day begins until your day ends, what is it that you need to do? You can't tell me that you just wake up and lousy around. You don't have a story. You don't know what to do. You have no work. You have no duty. You have no responsibility. You can't tell me that. Everybody has a responsibility. They have a vision. They have a plan, as to what they need to achieve within a given period or space or phase of time. So what are the things that you need today for you, to get to the place where you want to get, for job hunting? Do you have a bus fare for that? Do we have airtime for that? Do we have data for communication with your emails and everything? So yeah, this is how things happen. Next week, what are you planning for next week? What is it that you wanna see happening within your life space next week, in the coming week, in the coming month also? What is it that you wanna see happening? What is the vision of your life in the next few months, in the next years also? How do you set to achieve those goals, those intents, those responsibilities, those duties, and those plans and those dreams also? So because we all have something within our heart that we would really love to see happening, that we really love to do, that we really love to achieve on. So what is it? Go deep within your heart. Look at yourself, understand thyself, search thyself, interrogate yourself. We always emphasize this thing. Take time, make time to have a conversation with yourself, a monologue with yourself. And maybe it's a dialogue, it's a trialogue, within yourself, whereby you're talking to many beings that are within yourself. What am I saying when I'm talking of many beings? And I'm talking of every mind. Every mind represents certain personality. Every emotion represents certain personality. So there are many personalities within you. There are many beings. There are many things that are happening within you. There are many worlds also that are there within you. So how do you harmonize all that? How do you explore all that? How do you bring together for successful and productive, experiences within thyself? So it is really important to go deep within yourself. Ask yourself, have a conversation with yourself, have a talk with yourself. Don't be scared of yourself, man. Some people are so scared of themselves. They like, if I tune into that thought, and I don't want to experience that. I'm scared of the emotion, like the emotional response, the emotion that may be triggered when I, dwell my thought into that thing. Well, it's something that you need to do. You are scared. Maybe it's the fear of failure, or fear of the unknown. You don't believe you can make it. You don't see yourself making it. Now you think like, wow, if I start thinking about that thing, what will happen of me? Let me just check that thought. Always confront every thought that come within your mind space. Don't be scared of your thoughts. Always interrogate also every thought that comes into your mind. You know why? Some thoughts just come into your mind and you think you are thinking. You think they are just thoughts. Yes, it's nothing to do with you thinking. It's something projected from somewhere to manipulate, influence you in a direction that you didn't intend, going, because there are many things that are in place and that are interactively alive, within our life spaces, that are in space within our own spaces, and they will really love to manifest certain intent, certain goals of certain interest, within our life spaces. So interrogate every thought. Don't just take everything for granted and think that's just thinking. As an example, there's somebody, who had a quarrel with somebody, and the next thing, they draw the gun and shoot that person. After doing that, then they come to their senses. What happened? How did I do that? Like it's something like it's as if somebody, hijacked them, took over them and executed that thing. It does happen, you know, because sometimes some thoughts are just propelled into our minds, then emotions are amplified, triggering certain actions, then from there, when that thing is done with you, it goes away from you. Remain sober now with the consequences. So it is really important to take self-discipline in each and everything that we are focused or that we are exposed to. Each and every thought also, be disciplined to interrogate that, look into it, search it, and find if does it really come from, So everything that's coming from you can tell you of the consequences, at your actions now. There are things that you won't do because the consequences of that, the karmic repercussions of that. Proper and prior preparation prevents poor performance. This is what we're talking about today. So So that's very important to then, envision this whole process of you creating this, So remember, for everything there is a process. Things don't just happen just like that, or no, maybe spontaneously. No, there is no abracadabra. In creation of reality, there is a process that each and everything goes through. Even for you to feel something, there is a process, because it begins with the mind. The mind, it sends electrical impulses or signals to your nervous system. Then it defines the feeling. Then the body start feeling. You start having that emotion. It's been defined. It's been, triggered within the body of your nerves. Then it is defined by your mind. It becomes an awareness. You are feeling that thing. You are aware that you are feeling that thing now. It's a process. For a baby to be born, there is need for fertilization, then gestation period, pregnancy, everything like that. Then the kid is born. It's a process. You can't sit down. It goes through processes of transformation until it develops this roots, and the leaves that germinate outside. Then the branches, it becomes a tree that bears fruits of its own kind. It's all processes. For a fruit also, it becomes just like a flower. It becomes from the flower bud, it becomes a flower. Then something grows from there, boom, it's mature. It's now called a fruit. It's edible. Those are processes. So what are things that are involved in natural processes are forces of nature. All elements of nature are involved. So within your plan also, there are processes that are gonna take place for that thing to manifest. So this now then commands you to be very patient. Firstly, be consistent in the energy that you channel, into your idea, your thought power, your emotional body. You channel all that thing, into what your intent, into your goal, into your dream, into your plan that you wanna see happening, that you wanna achieve. So consistently simply means, on a day-to-day basis. On a day-to-day basis simply mean many, more frequent within your day. Have time to think about your plans, to think about your goals, to think about your intents. Then set, as to how now do I go about to achieve that. So consistency is very important now, because now it makes you live the dream even become before it can physically be manifested. It's really alive within thyself. You live it. That experience, the emotional contact, the whole phase of you living that, experiencing it, is the power that is projected into the universe, magneted into the universe, processed into manifestation. So it's all about consistency. You can just think about something today and then, like, wow, God has heard. Just wait, let me mind some other stuff. You think of something, the next thing, like, God has also registered that. Let me. No, it doesn't work like that. It all takes you, to channel yourself fully into that thing consistently. If you are praying, that is why the Bible says, pray without seasons. Simply mean more frequent in making those visualizations and more affirmations, so that you can, influence the universe to process your thing into manifestation. So in the period of, consistency, in the period of you, planning, and putting all the elements, working out this whole thing, between then and the actual manifestation of it, there is a period. Within that period, a lot of things can happen now. Some negative thoughts can be projected into your mind space. You remember, we've just said, interrogate each and every thought that comes into your mind. One, two, sometimes the process might seem to be very long, so that some people get tired. We're waiting for the bridegroom, or was it the bride? I don't remember, but there was this honorable person in this honorable ceremony to be, 10 of them got tired. They sold out their oil. Five of them. Then the other five of them kept their oil. So that when the flame goes out, they will replenish, refill, their lamps. so that light remains. So these ones, everything was done, no more light. When everything was done, that honorable person appeared. Then they didn't have the oil, they didn't have the lights. So when they're going out to buy lights, doors were shut. They were left outside. So that is part of planning and preparation. Be prepared for what you intend to achieve. Be prepared to receive what you are requesting, or applying for or ordering in the universe. So it is very important to be, not just consistent but also patient, trust in the process. Kila kitu kwa mchakato, kwa hiyo lazima tu tu amini katika mchakato. Everything takes a process. We have to trust the process, trust in the process. What does it mean to trust in the process? It's what by that this thing will happen, because the universe does not deny anyone anything. So this thing, in its own time, by the universal law of rhythm and purpose, it will come to manifest. I don't know when, because the universe is timeless. So let me tap into the timelessness of the universe so that I don't feel the strain of having to wait, for the manifestation of this. So that is how you tap your vibrations into your higher vibrations now. So never be discouraged by anything in life, be it what people say of you, what people say about your plan, what people say about your dreams, what people say about your intents, what people say about your life responsibilities and duties and purpose. Never be discouraged by that, because you can't stop people from saying or doing stuff to you, but you have authority as to how you respond to that. So be assertive in each and every space and moment and phase, in context in life. So when you do the thing and it doesn't come out well, this is part of preparedness. Be prepared to redo it in another format, in another formula, apply another approach to it until you find it right, because you deserve it and you have the responsibility to make that thing happen. So nobody can just come from the sky and make things happen for you. Everything is all about responsibility. So also strategic positioning now is part of the planning thing, is part of the proper and prior planning, whereby this is what you want. So how do I position myself within the sphere of influence of other people? This is the layout of my business proposal, this is the layout of my project. This is the layout of the inputs, the components, the resources that I need. So how do I position myself into a positioning of access? Now, then networking comes into place. You have to be very, creative in networking. Find the right people, for the right thing, for the right, questions, so that you can find the right answers, find and also access the right services, the right material, the right, resources. So strategic positioning is that idea where you place yourself in a sphere, in a zone, in a terrain, in a valley of providence. Because there are people already out there. They don't know what to do with the material that they have. So it's up to you to knock on their doors. It's up to you to send them that email. It's up to you to call them. It's up to you to, request a meeting with them, so an interview with them, so that you can, present your plan so as to access the funds that you need, access the material, the resources that you need. So it's all about governing yourself, directing yourself, being responsible, being practical with your plans that you are planning. Then also, it is very important to have this thing whereby you quantify. Quantification is all about, like, numbers and size and measurements. Measure your dream. Measure the what you want. Be specific in everything. Then qualify. As in, like, you are now talking about quality now. What quality is it that you wanna bring about eventually? What's the quality of your end product? So it is very important to see this thing. Always add value the more you envision it. Always add value unto it. Because, the more you see what you need, the more you experience it, it's the more you feed life unto it. It's the more you influence the universe to draw energy of manifestation unto it, So that's the science of creation. Remember, before there was nothing, it was the spirit of life hovering, in space. Then there was the envisioning of the self as to how I can be a multiplicity of myself in different form, in different expressions, in different personalities, in different phrases also, So out of those visions came out the multiplicities of the self. Then when all was done, then this multiplicity of this one said, let us create one, this creature that's going to be our image, that's going to do the duties, and the responsibilities as we do, but in their own form and dimension as, human beings, So all those minds, each had a picture as to what they can contribute towards the creation of this body first, the creation of this being now that gonna represent all the multiplicity of one, in this realm. So yeah, this is how we were created. So who are you? You are that multiplicity of the elements of creation. You are the multiplicity of the divine minds. You are the multiplicity of the infinite consciousness in its, all diverse forms, in their specificity. So you are a creator. You have the power to create. You can create your reality. You can create the things that you want to see. So maybe you have located somebody that is of need. You create yourself in their space as being like the god or goddess, in human being, coming to tap into their elements or their spheres, their spaces to activate some elements, some reality, of goodness, of success, of awareness, of alertness, So this is how life goes on. This is how, we were designed to live. We're designed to live as like we are each of a specific service unto others. So locate the specificity of the service of others unto your own plan. Proper and prior preparation prevents poor performance. So be very strategic in your performance. Be very consistent in the performance of you working out your plan. You work your plan, you plan your work and work your plan. You don't just plan your work and leave it like that. You work it. You just plan it so that it can give you a guideline and it can bind you now to say, okay, this the first step will be this. The next phase will be that. The third phase will be that until the final phase. So you are binding yourself to that plan. All your day-to-day, life is all channeled into this plan so that you can execute and achieve each and every stage of your planning. So then your life has meaning now. When the sun rises, you know what to do. When the sun rises, you know where to go. You are always awake. You are always in thoughts, you are always in work, you are always in action towards this, mpango ni ramani kuelekea kwenye mafanikio. Plan or the plans are the map work towards our success. So you cannot just be successful without you having planned your way out. And remember, in your planning, you are not just alone. The universe is at place. It's absorbing the energy, the frequency, the current of the pictures of your thoughts and the emotion that propel it into its universe, into its belly or the womb. So then it processes and feeds life. So don't just think you are just planning and you do all those things by just your independent power. There is no independence in the web of creation. It's all about interdependence. So you are also dependent on other elements of creation, on other elements of life, on other elements of nature in the achievement of your goal. So it is that now a calling unto even governments of countries, especially our African countries. You go to each government and ask, what is your 5-year plan? What is your 10-year plan? What is your 50-year plan about the country? you can't find nothing. That is why Africa is always going, going round and round, in this cycle of poverty, this cycle of failure, this cycle of backwardness, this cycle, of being victimized by other organized groups of people, because we lack that organized sense of governance that has proper and prior planning, that have proper and prior preparation also, to make sure that they are successful as government. Our economies are always down. While all this whole world depend on Africa for raw materials, but the economy is always down. What's happening? There is no prior planning. There's no plan as to how do we take Africa outside the colonial context, because we're still within the colonial context. Nothing changed. We still attach our identity to these geographic spheres that were created. That these are colonial business territories, the boundaries of colonial business territories. So we still attached to this. We still have this thing of, like, look at us here. What's our law? It's the Roman Dutch law. Where is the African in that? Roman Dutch law. This is the law that is governing us. We are still within those colonial, reins, chains. Don't we want to liberate ourselves? Don't each and every one of us wish to be free? Don't each and every one of us wish to contribute their talent, their intelligence, their skills, and their their resourceful and essence towards the betterment and freedom of Africa? But we don't have leadership. We don't have any leadership that have plans. Africa, each and everyone, like they are just moving like, these gangsters. Each and every country, we have this gang of people that hijack the country for their specific personal gain. Remember, who is paying the president? It's your tax. Each and every one of us is paying the president, is paying all those ministers through tax. You go and buy a sweet, there is VAT there. You buy a tissue to go to the toilet, there is VAT there. You do that there in each and every financial expenditure, financial process, financial transaction. There is VAT. So that is the money that is accumulated by SARS, so that it can be put into the government as coffers or account. Then there are people who then decide how much goes to where, etc. like that. But Africa is still poor because we don't have a plan for our freedom. We don't have a plan for our development. We don't have a plan as to how best can we solidify and, add value to our interrelations as African people. We are a nation, a family, but our familyhood is something that doesn't matter that much anymore unto us, simply because we have, internalized and actualized the slave identity. So we no longer have that drive to cement our relations, that drive, to come together, to share our power, unity is power. So these are the sayings, active wall, to consolidate all these things that bring us together, to consolidate all the things that cement and empower our relatedness, because after all, we are all related. Whether you like it or what, take away politics, look at this thing in a real sense. We are all related. We are a family. We are a nation as African people. But look at where we are and even calculate where we might be going, from now. Africa is going to be facing a whole lot of catastrophe, a whole lot of cacophony, a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of, traumatic experiences as some gangsters clash over who must control, run, and all the resources that Africa has to offer. Not unto the world, but unto its herself. But all these resources at the end of the day will go to other nations, other organized groups of people, simply because Africa lacks leadership that has a proper and prior planning planning and mapping out a way out of the colonial context into the context of independence, into the context of emancipation, into the context of liberation. We don't want to liberate our minds, away from the colonial chains. We don't want to liberate our spirits away from the slave chains. We don't want to liberate ourselves even physically, in line with our purposes, as the law of magnetism draw us and pull us and push us. You hear somebody say, I'm born in Soweto, I'm raised in Soweto, I grew up in Soweto, I will die in Soweto. So you think your life is such, such compressed, such contained within a small box. You don't see yourself somewhere else, maybe in Ghana. You don't see yourself somewhere else, maybe in Tanzania. You don't see yourself somewhere else, maybe in India or elsewhere. You see yourself in your little geographic point where maybe you were born. Wherever you were born doesn't, has nothing to do with your identity. You are a soul, you are a spirit after all. You are not even this body. This body will be laid to rest and eaten by minute worms under the ground, but you will continue to live. So how do you expand your consciousness when you're limiting your sphere of, awakeness, alertness, alive? How do you expand your infinite consciousness when you are just squashing and compressing and belittling yourself, limiting yourself? Self-limitation is self-defeat. Self-defeat, is self-stagnation. That is self-destruction. That is the thing that we African need to do. Tap out from, self-destruction, because we are going, through this perpetual cycle, of collective and individual self-destruction. Do you have a plan as to what you want to achieve in life? Do you have a plan as to how best can you, add value unto the life space? Do you have a plan as to how can you, cement and improve your relations with other people? Do you have a plan as to how you're gonna help other people out of theirs to go outside the reality of struggle, strife, scarcity and lack? What is your plan into other people's spaces? Are you planning to add value unto other people's life? Are you planning to be an element of destruction, an element of calamity, an element of disaster unto other people's? What is your plan? Your plan about your life defines your plan into other people's spaces, So you can't give what you don't have. So if you don't have respect, don't have self-honor, you don't have self-value, you don't have self-love, there's no such that you're gonna give unto other people's spaces, So activate them too, the kara, the Christ within thyself, the morality, the holiness within thyself, so that you can be of success in other spaces. Without, Christ within yourself, without holiness within yourself, without Ntu within yourself, without humanness in the context of your life, there is no progressive success. It's all destruction. It's all disaster. It's all, cacophony. It's all calamity, So it is very important, to be in the zone of the divine self, so that you can have meaning, even the planning of your life, aligning to the values of Ntu, aligning to the values of Christ, aligning to the various values of humanness. That is the substance of the soul of the infinite consciousness, the goddess and God of creation. You're aligning yourself with the benevolent realm, benevolent entities, benevolent frequencies of benevolence out there, providence, out there. Then you are bound to be successful as long as you are practical about your plans. So did you write down your plans as for the year? Each and every time, like on the 31st, I hear people say, my New Year's resolution. What's your resolution for your today? Because you are born every day. The resolution of the sun is to shine, even if it's cloudy. The sun has to shine during the day until it sets in the night. What's the resolution of the moon? To be what it is, throughout all the cycles. What's the resolution of the ground, the land? To provide, to allow every seed to germinate and grow. So what's your resolution as you wake up each and every day? What are the affirmations? What are the visualizations? What are your prayers? What are your meditations about yourself, about the day as it lies, as it comes ahead of you? So what are your plans about the week? What are your plans about the month? What are your plans about the year? Our year is coming to an end right now. We are in September. This is the end of our year. This is the final month, of our year. So what is the plan for the year end? Because on the 22nd we'll be celebrating our new year, new season. According to our calendar is aligned to the solstice, and the equinoxes. This is what defines our time. So what is it that you wanna see, as a map work of success, looking back, from where the year started last year? What is it that you're gonna be counting as steps and stages of success towards the ultimate, actual, final success of your purpose of life, success of your goals, success of your dreams, success of your plans? So do you have that formality of your life whereby you plan everything, you have everything down? Be it on paper, be it on your screen. It's on your notes there, it's on your reminder. It's on your. Do you have that thing of gathering information, and then tabling down the information, and scheduling and sequencing it as to this is where it's gonna begin, this is where it's gonna follow, this is what is gonna be next, this is the final thing, this is what I wanna achieve. What's your plan about your life? Some people don't, have time to look into themselves. That is why you hear somebody say, "No, me, I don't know. As long as I can find a job, I'm fine." What if all jobs are done with? There's no more job for you, anybody. Then what's gonna be your plan? You know, so there are people that are busy, like they go all the way chest out. They call themselves managers. Some call themselves this and this. Some, all those titles are aligned to their job descriptions. They'll treat other people. They'll behave, in line with their job descriptions. You were not born a major. You were once a kid, knowing nothing, not even the language that you're speaking, not even the Igbo that you're speaking, the Yoruba that you're speaking, the Setswana that you're speaking, the Chikalanga that you're speaking. You didn't know all that you were taught, So who were you then, now that you are a man? What's going to happen of you next day when you are no longer a CEO, when you are no longer that whoever you are according to your job space? Find meaning in your real sense, who you are. Find meaning in your purpose to life. Then live to execute that. Always, position yourself in such a way that you are in a sphere of self-satisfaction. You are content with yourself. You are satisfied with yourself because you have searched and found yourself. Each and every day, there is something that you do unto yourself, about yourself, to yourself, as being of service unto other people, as we are in this interdependent sphere of a life, this web of creation, So yeah, this is all it's all about. Proper and prior preparation prevents poor performance. So today we've been talking about the power of planning, how you map work your way unto success. Things don't just happen when you are blind eyesighted. Things only happen when you are off sight. You know where you're stepping. You can see where not to step. That is planning. You plan to step on this because you see there is something on the other side. That's planning. Then you put your foot there. The next step, that's how you do it. That's planning your way out. But if you are blind of your sight of self, then your life won't have meaning. Your life, you won't have value. You won't have harmony. Instead, you will start being like that empty tin or empty bucket that makes a lot of noise because you are empty inside. You are going around being of disharmony. You are trying to look for something out there, yet it's within thyself. Take time, make time. Be in the time, where you find yourself within thyself. Then you start having a way as to how do I manifest this. Even for Zawadi to be here, it didn't just happen just like that. I can tell my story. Maybe, I never even had the thing of saying, okay, one day I'll be, under Mzansi FM as a presenter, But I always had a vision. I always had this thing that's saying, I feel myself, I'm given in the power of word to speak life, unto dry bones, to prophesy life unto dry bones. But I didn't, have a way of saying, I'll go to Mzansi. I didn't even know Mzansi exists. But the universe registered, the power of my picture of life. The universe registered the vibrations that are projected onto her womb. Then it started processing all that from time to time. So before doing this, before there was Zawadi Fire Trade YouTube channel, before there was Zawadi, in Mzansi FM, there was Zawadi elsewhere doing something in a very minute scale. I used to call it Kando ya Barabara. Nilikuwa natangaza Kando ya Barabara. That was the program. Kando ya Barabara production means like by the roadside production. So whereby each and every day, like I always had my phone. Every time an inspiration comes, I just step by the roadside and record a short clip, circulate it around Facebook and WhatsApp. That's what I was doing, sending the words of motivation, sharing information and knowledge unto many people until the universe saw that, okay, Zawadi, you are now in a point of maturity. Now I'm elevating you. I'm putting you into a space whereby you'll be accessible to a whole lot many people in a larger scale beyond Kando ya Barabara. Then, I met Bonza Deluxe, and here I am today. I don't know where I'm going to be in the next moment or time, because the universe, it keeps, like it graduates you. Once you pass a module, once you pass, a phase, it graduates you. It opens up, another page of a bigger, space unto you. This is how it does. So the important thing is, I searched myself and found myself that, okay, what I have is not like the power of creating substances. My hands, people, are so terrible. I can't even draw. I can't draw a straight line. I can't. But I can split straight lines with my voice, with my mouth. I can split straight rhymes. Yes, sir, with my mind. So like maybe somebody like, what rhymes that? Yeah. I'm the infinity trinity, I'm the infinity, the trinity in your vicinity, splitting rhymes with no limit, yeah. Those are the rhyme lines now that I can. Those are the straight lines that I can draw. I can draw with my mouth, using the power of word. That's the best way I can do paintings. That's the best way I can build structures of pictures of the mind, ideas. That's how of a creator I was designed to be. I was born to be. So you were born also to be a creator in your own space, in your own specificity. What is it that you were born to create, and how were you given? How were you anointed? To create it. Search thyself. Once you find thyself, start living out thyself. Start doing things. Start doing things from a smaller scale. It will grow, to a bigger scale, as long as you are consistent into this. So as part of proper and prior planning, you search for information, that is aligned to the thing that you are doing also. In searching for information, you read a lot. You interact with people. You become inquisitive. Curiosity never killed the cat. I think somebody lies. I don't know. That's how I feel it. Me, I believe like curiosity taught the cat. Because the cat became aware of a whole lot of things. Out of being curious, so it will just, keep checking. Into other spaces to know what one day. So yeah, be curious also. Be investigative. Be more of a research. So that you can access more information. Read a lot, So you have your phone, you can access ebooks in your phone. Read a lot. Go to the libraries, if ever there is any library or library within any space where you are. Go there, find the relevant books to read. Ask around, make a research about the things you want to do. If it's a business, it is really important to make a business, research, whereby you're researching about your market, you're researching about your competitors. Also, you're researching also about how other people are doing it. How then to make sure that you do it in a different way. Make your product be unique in its own way, so that it can be appealing to the potential customers or potential client. Make your service to be unique. Add value, unto your service, so that you can attract more of potential client or customers. So this is how things do, proper and prior preparation prevents poor performance. So today we just been talking about the power of planning, as a way, to make sure that we are successful in everything that we do, So success is a product of your work, your practicality. You can't just kneel and pray and think things will just happen, like some manna will drop from heaven. That's just a biblical story. Life is real, manna can be accessed through your working. Manna can be retrieved through your working, your practicality, being in good spaces at the right time, in the right way, in the right form, for the right things, so being right each and every time, so don't be left behind, don't be left aside, yes, I be on the side, inside, don't be outside, otherwise you'll be cast, outside, so if you've been chilling with us, here at Mzansi FM in the program Impande Zemiti, with I Zawadi Mishwana, all we're saying is we appreciate your time. You are always of value unto us, So if you're just listening to this, presentation, watching it, from Zawadi YouTube channel, all we're saying is, tuko pamoja, twashukuru sana kwa uwepo wenu, katika yoyote tufanyayo, so kila siku, tuwe wamoja, tuwe pamoja katika chochote tunachokusudia kufanya, chochote kizuri tunakusudia kufanya, hebu tuwe wamoja, tufanye kazi kwa ushirikiano, so in everything good that we want to do, that we set to do, let us all be united and be, in a cooperative, work, so that we can all be successful. Success is a collective idea, because your achievement of what you want, is a result of a whole lot of many people, involved in your dream, involved in your work, involved in your responsibility, involved in your duty that you are doing, So man, it is very important to then embrace everybody that comes into our space, and I give them space to be productive within our space, in as much as we let us be motivated to be productive in other people's spaces. Let your space be of good value unto other people's spaces, so as we live interdependently, intercollectively, intertwined, interrelatedly, so we all become this one collective body that, defines what human beings are, So let us be the collective body as all the collective body of all those elements of life that came together to create the human beings that we are today. So as we leave you today, we leave you in peace, we leave you in the power of prosperity, we leave you in the power of self-determination, we leave you in the power of, a zeal and eagerness, to go out there and search thyself, find thyself, then, transfer thyself into other people's spaces, So we are leaving you with all positivity over negativity. That's how we live it in this liberty, So we can say, kwa herini, goodbye for now. See you again in the next episode to be, yes, I Zawadi Mushwana, I say see you next time. So man, this is how we do it, So as we move forward with our production,